Hey everyone, so this is Max.
Hey everyone.
So Max came to Canada, to Bob Cajun more specifically, uh, last year, November 29th, open work permit. And basically, since then, you've been following us on Instagram and stuff. We've been doing lots of crafting and traditional style craft, knife making, basically like anything we can think of. Should we recap the year? You
We
showed
can do
up
that.
and right to work.
That's true. You had a big show coming up in Ottawa. So the first 10 days, I think we were just like carving spoons, 10 spoons a day or something.
Till like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And then we went on this 10-day show, and that pretty much kicked it off. Just selling spoons and other wooden
That was fun.
objects.
So basically, like, we ran out of spoons. We were carving spoons at the show and like put them on the table. They'd sell and whatnot, and that was kind of cool. But
That was great.
and then after that, we were basically like carving kuxas and just experimenting with a lot of stuff in the shop and
Better.
yes, please, sir. That was a blur for me. We did your outdoor show.
That's true. So what happened actually is like, and I think, just being rude here, talking with Fomo. Yeah. So after that show, we actually tried to figure out how our year's gonna be, right? So after when I came here, I basically had my little toolkit, whatever I could just fit into a suitcase or two. And what are you doing?
I'm gonna timer because it runs out at 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, you're running out in 20 minutes. So yeah, like I only had my little toolkit and we just tried to wing it, right? So I had my axe, I had my basic spoon carving kit, and a box of leather tools, like carving tools or leather crafting tools. And then we just tried to figure out what to do. So Jeff started booking his shows for the year, and I'm still working out of a B&B room, and we're together in this 200 square feet workshop. But it worked out. I mean, like, it was a chaos most of the time, but
So tell people about the show because there's probably like,
So,
people
yeah,
watching and
so what was
in Ontario.
happening is we just looked up like where you gonna go and what I gonna do, and there was this outdoor adventure show coming up in the International Center in Toronto. And I was like, I never gonna do that, and you were like, you gonna do that, dude. It was really
I didn't say
expensive.
it like that, but
No, he said it like that. Several times.
accent and all.
All the accent.
You
included.
gonna do that,
You're gonna do that,
dude?
So yeah, that was pretty scary. It was expensive. It was a huge show, and I'm really happy I did it. It was a crazy hustle to get everything ready. If you go to my Instagram channel, you actually can see pictures. It was just a great show, surrounded by all kind of canoes and like hardly any other paddle carvers than me, but a
No,
lot
no
of
one like
outdoor
you.
gear, a lot of cool stuff. It was great exposure, and I met so many people. I met most of the companies I'm working with now.
Yeah, that
canoe-
show like set up your full year pretty much.
It was.
almost.
It was really like I had a crowd in front of my knife display the whole time. Couldn't even talk to all the people at the same time. It was really rewarding. I was really happy, and I was really grateful actually that I was able to go there. And so yeah, I met the company I'm working with in Tamagami, the Tamagami Canoe Outfitting Company. Shout out there.
That's why you're here for a plug. That's your plug.
Shout out.
Okay, anything else? Obamacare
Please click the button in the corner. No political comments. We said that, dude.
Just
No
kidding.
political comments on this. Jeez, you don't want to go there.
Should we cut that out?
Yeah, we should cut that out. We're just gonna be funny because we're not gonna cut it out then. But anyways, so
So that year basically like ended up you being on TV, talking to all of these the town hall people in Peterborough.
yeah, well that's like
you
really
can
late.
you can throw out some names of who's got your knives and stuff.
Well, so now I think what was really cool about the outdoor show, and you were there for it one day, right? Like
Yeah.
Jeff helped me set up because I was really.
I was manning your booth for the first like hour.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Oh, this is all your stuff? Nope, just my friend. I don't know where he is.
You can't imagine, guys. You
Those-
just can't imagine. I didn't even have a vehicle at that time. I was like borrowing
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah.
pickup truck from a friend. It was really crazy. Just had my logo done. Just had my banner done. Just had all the business cards done. It was totally new. Another person I met there was huge. Was Tim Foley from the Canadian outdoor equipment shop down in Mississauga, Toronto. And we had a great time together too. He's a really cool guy. So yeah, I can just say as far as experience for these kind of shows, it's a great bit of networking and very worth it. Very much if you're starting out, if you're doing something like that. I mean, then a lot of shows followed, right? Like after that, I tried to ride that wave, and a lot of shows followed, and some of them were absolutely terrible. And we learned, I think, both
Oh yeah.
a lot this year about where to go, where not to go, what to do, and who we actually are. Because it's a brand, you know, we are to a certain degree a brand, and we're doing certain things. And who are the people who are genuinely interested in that? So we did hundreds of hours of talking this year to people who probably didn't really know even what we're doing, and some of the shows were really not the right demographic, I think I could say.
That's
And
the only way you find out by going and stuff. So
yeah, it was I think we
Learning
paid a
experience.
lot of learning money
Oh,
this
yeah.
year, and yeah, we figured so many things out. I made my first belts after I came to Canada. I started making knives properly after I came to Canada. We made knives together. We made hook knives. We experimented with all kind of steels and cramped our shop just with little tools and like new things, and we did so many new things this year, right?
that's one thing I talk a lot about is like just kind of, well, in my newsletters or little blurbs in Instagram, like really pushing yourself to try something new. And that was one thing you mentioned. You're like, dude, you just start winging stuff, and I'm like, that's a lot of my life, I guess. I've kind of look like I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm faking it. I just try making a knife, and all of a sudden it's like, oh,
It actually turned out
there's
it was,
some knives.
It was so discouraging for somebody trying to figure it out forever.
But yeah, you
Is
just
this
gotta-
holding an edge? Yeah, actually, it's still shaving sharp after like 5 spoons. Okay. Good job.
Yeah. So
No, it was great. Like Jeff did some pretty amazing winging action, and like from no steel work at all, we went
Yeah.
to making our own hook knives, our own carving knives, and we went further. Like recently, I've made a couple of knives with Hamon style tempering lines, differential heat treated. You made your own Tuka cam, your own hook
Yeah.
knife, your own straight blade. We experimented with axes. Oh yeah, and then the axe thing started,
Yeah.
right? Then I hooked up with Paul that I met actually at the outdoor equipment show, outdoor adventure show. Paul
Toronto Blacksmith.
Kuskowski from the Toronto Blacksmith. Really awesome guy. When you're in North America, Canada, this is like a 19 or 20-year-old guy, being a lifetime of an experience, hammer forged, hand forged, traditional camp felling and carving axes. And we worked together for a little bit. I went down there, we forged an axe together that, actually, let me just get that
Yeah.
piece.
His work is like really, what's the word? It's easy to recognize his work.
Yeah, so I went down there and like we shared a little bit of information. I learned tons and tons from him, and I think he was able to pick one or the other thing up from somebody who's using a carving axe every single day, because you know, we don't do what either of us does, so there's a lot to learn. And I forged this axe with him that is actually gonna be featured in one of my carving axe review videos. They're on my channel, by the way, if you want
It's
to
a nice
over.
axe.
And
Used it.
yeah, this was modeled after an axe I saw up in Denmark when I visited the Roskilde Viking shipbuilding wharf, and it was hanging up on a wall of an example of a 8th century traditional hand axe for shipbuilding, and I made it with Paul and I loved it. So that's another thing that came from the outdoor adventure show. Just a great tool maker, very very close to us, right? And a great craftsman, very determined.
That's one thing that like we really got to do, and I guess maybe followers wouldn't really like see or be aware of, but like we spent so much time talking about the weight of this axe. Okay, like, you know, I'm using this axe. Let me carve a bowl blank and a spoon blank, and what what projects is this axe good for? And like we have all this cool discussion going on, and I think to one degree or another we really tried to like share our the journey. Like we're this year was like a huge crafting journey. We really tried to share all that right off the bat, and maybe we came across as being overly enthusiastic. But if anyone like Max has a lot of information, and he can share all that right now. But for anyone that's watching, go to his Instagram, woodsman's_finest, and go through like all his posts. Read all his posts, and you're guaranteed to find something. And like mine too, or like anyone's.
Yeah,
for that
or
matter.
just
Mine, Noble.
Noble
_
Woodcraft, Instagram. Is it Noble _?
Yeah.
Did you get the underscore from me?
Yeah, I copied you. I give credit, full credit. Jeez. Full credit goes to Max. But
Can you imagine how much time this year we spent actually on discussing this whole credit about things for stuff? When it comes to spoon carving or making anything, it can be a knife, it can be an axe, it can be even like in my leatherwork, the wallets and the sheaths and all of that. You're always like,
so
well,
scared
there
to
might be
make.
somebody else out there who came up with the same measurement for putting a credit card in. Well, a credit card is credit card size, right? Like
Yep.
there's only so much you can do about
Yeah,
that.
and spoon carving, like everyone's mouth is probably an average size, and
Well,
know,
yeah,
like-
we humans also, like a eating spoon somehow has to fit that.
your hand and your mouth. It's like
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time this year like talking about these things, and as well probably having our fair share of trouble with that. But it is what it is, you know.
which doesn't mean we did anything wrong, but and maybe like for anyone, I don't know.
Now let's
Sometimes
be very
let's
careful now.
with choice words. But this is my YouTube channel and yours, so
That's right.
like we might have done some controversial things, and I think after recapping from the year and like just really diving into like carving, like quite seriously, like it's still a fairly new craft, and there's a lot of like sensitive things that maybe haven't got worked out. And I know that there's like politics and like pottery and other stuff as well, but the spoon carving seems to was just revived recently type thing, and maybe it's even just kind of new to North America. But yeah, anyways, we talked a lot about spoons, and so again, if you go back to our Instagram, like to January to maybe March last 2016, you'll see all our posts, and like our notes, are in the posts and stuff, and you can learn a lot by just combing through there, see what we were experimenting with, and lines that worked, and we even had like this whiteboard, and we were drawing and like doing like little like seminars just by ourselves, like what profile is ideal. Okay, when you're holding the spoon, what angle should it be, and what size is the handle? Like,
We took it quite serious.
Yeah.
That's actually a very, very geeky topic.
Yeah, it
we
might
went
have seemed
full
like
on spoon geek.
it might have seemed like we were maybe arrogant at some points, but when you spend who knows how many hours in that shop talking about spoons, it's like you start to develop some confidence, and you sound arrogant, but it's like
Yeah, and
we
after
just-
the first pound of flesh you've taken out of your fingers, we had a couple of injuries this year.
you had
I-
a couple of injuries.
I bandsawed my finger. I burned my hands in the
called-
forge badly. Like the whole, like my hands were like one piece of bubble, and I was lucky that a friend of mine had this like medical burn, like ointment, and
You chip carved your finger.
I chip carved my finger a couple times. Then
was
like
bad.
recently, like this glowing 800 degrees Celsius knife blank flew off the anvil and into my face and just cut me open here.
I think I got a little scratch right here the other day. That's
This
Yeah,
damage
anyways.
is internal.
brain damage.
No, like you had your really like hard time with your, like just with muscles and
Yeah, I
stuff.
have
right?
I have the forearm stuff. I probably
Yeah.
whine a little bit about that, and maybe some of you know, but yeah. So carving and gripping, like most nights I'm massaging my arms, and it's basically my forearm, and so like some mornings I'll go carve a spoon, and I get through one blank, and my arm's just like
Which is a
toast.
good point to point out actually. a video I have on my YouTube channel,
Oh yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna air this video on both of our channels anyway.
Yep.
So like, go down to
Max's channel.
like
I think
press
the
button.
thumbnail is like you on a mat or something, like a work. Exercise.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a video out about joint problems that are
Right.
somehow associated with a lot of crafting, like this type we do, and yeah, while I'm like martial arts and stuff, what I'm doing at the same time. So like I think the combination in what I'm doing when I'm feeling like these problems coming up before they become kind of chronicle and everything, right? So like yeah, like I went
You
for
met cool people.
I went for quite a few trips. I went up north several times to North Bay and Temagami for some the Temagami Canoe Festival, where I was invited by the Temagami Canoe Company, and I met Ray Mears up there, and that was making me quite nervous. Can you remember?
Like a little
Like,
school girl.
what am I gonna wear? Like, what am I gonna do? And it happened. It turned out to be an absolute blast. Seeing him and talking to him just a little bit, and like asking him questions about little things I was always wondering, and yeah, being just in the heart of all of that. And I actually ate some of his bannock. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
He was making bannock for this bushcraft thing, and then it was up for grabs, and that was kind of interesting because that's probably one of the videos I watched the most about bannock, and like
Yours is pretty good.
I'm making bannock now pretty much every day for like
So like
for a while, and
Yeah, I
it was
guess-
amazing to have all of this. It seemed like like a different world, because when you're on the other side of the pond, all of these things are just like out of space, right?
What's interesting is like on YouTube, it seems like there's a tight knit community, but like you go actually out and about, and like you go to shows, and sometimes it can seem like a month before you meet another person who's even into this stuff, and it's just kind of funny.
It is, but then you're putting yourself into a spot where it's more likely, right? So in Temagami up there, there's just way more people walking by, just asking for a specific skinning knife or something. And I sold a lot of the smaller knives, just for people skinning, because they said when they have to cut around the tail of a muskrat, they need a certain knife, and it was like, okay, whatever, like your call. But it was just awesome to talk to these people. Oh, and well, I met a crew of birch bark canoe builders that came from the west coast. They also usually do a lot of dugout canoes, and I met them at the show. So they invited me to Bear Island, which is on Lake Temagami, and to the Bear Island Anishinaabe reserve there, and just for me to show my paddle card. And so I went there, and they gave me a big log piece where they took birch bark off for a birch bark canoe, which was amazing, and they just were in the preparation. I harvested some spruce roots with them that day, and we went back to the island, and I just gave me the log, and I had the axe and the draw knives, and I showed them some of the tools, and I just made the paddle that I'm now have used for 2 or 3 bigger trips up in Temagami and in the Kawartha Highlands and stuff, and that was just a really crazy experience, actually being there, learning from those people, being allowed to show some stuff, and then using that very paddle actually from up there for a trip in Temagami to Wolf Lake. And about all of these things, there's going to be videos coming out as soon as the pace slows down a little bit, and there's going to be tons of really cool footages of the time we had. And so Temagami was definitely a highlight, and then I started working with Brett and Clark of The Land Adventure
plug.
Company.
Links below.
Links below, as always. And he is in Lakefield, Peterborough, about 2 hours drive or something from Toronto, and works a lot with the Canadian Canoe Museum, which is very famous, and which I was able to visit and work with people there. And like I had one of my spoons in a silent auction at the film festival there that was hosted by Kevin Callan, which is also an absolute honor. And I would have never imagined coming here, like that I'm gonna be actually able to work with all of these crazy people. It's just, it's pretty, it's pretty unreal. It's I don't know, it's like you play basketball somewhere in Austria, and then you go to the US, and then you train with Michael Jordan. That's how it feels to me a little bit.
But it was a pretty intense like start. Like I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all,
Not recommended.
I don't know if I'm just going to be accepting everyone's application to come work in my shop with me next year. Max was an exception, and I had to kick his butt a lot, but
And I had to kick his butt sometimes too.
he tried. Then he was locked in an arm bar and tapping out. I don't even know what that is, but but yeah, like don't expect like
It's not easy.
yeah, Max is a unique individual where like forget anything else in life. All it is craft and stuff, right?
Well, for the first 3 or 4 months, right? Like I was
Yeah.
just commuted between the workshop and my B&B room, and there was nothing else. It was winter. There was shows coming up. There were no people around. I knew I was just going to the shop. The shop was sometimes minus 30 degrees in the morning. Remember?
Yeah.
And we were like firing up, mostly Jeff in the beginning, that just firing up the shop really early morning, the wood stove, so by noon we were not able to see our breath anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's not this kind of romantic thing where you just go into a preheated hut and like there's a couple of beavers or something. This is like
Yeah.
it was hardcore cold.
But
Yeah.
also like just hardcore hours invested. Like so like the craft life, you know, you came here and it was like craft full time instantly.
It's
jump in the deep end.
24/7. There's no like 9 to 5. Like I was paddle carving at 11 o'clock at night if it was necessary for a show, right?
Yeah. So just to paint the realistic picture, like
Yeah, and then you go into a show and you have to tell everybody exactly how you make it because people these days think handmade means it's like somebody turns on a machine by hand or something, but that's not the case. If we were making a paddle, or if we were making anything else we do, it is mostly just an axe, a piece of wood, and then you start shaping things and take everything off that does not look like the end product, right?
I think for the most part, handmade generally means like no automated process. But with me and with Max and I, like our definition of handmade meant like for the most part, like there was no power tools, like and people like really had a hard time understanding that here.
And you need
And
to
that
you
was
need to
frustrating.
educate it a lot. So like
Yeah.
after like weeks and weeks of crafting and making everything the nicest you can and have a beautiful booth set up with whatever like my Hudson's Bay blanket or like your really like contrasting nice booth setup, then you're spending 3, 4, 5 days of constantly talking and telling people what it actually means and how things are made, because you might have another belt booth like 3 stores down and there everything comes from overseas and it's cheaply machine made and people don't understand why they should pay twice the price for a belt that I cut with a strap cutter from a hide and then chamfer the edges by hand, burnish the edges with canvas and wax and all and punched all the holes by hand, and there is not really it's not easily explained what that means and what that means for you as a customer and what that means for the years and years of cherishing and like enjoying the product and stuff. So that's what we mostly did, and I think this is also what drained us the most about all of that. It's just like after all of the energy spent, then we had to spend a lot of time and energy to actually get across what it means.
Yeah, you have to definitely wear a lot of hats, and one like the main event in my life was having our new baby Wesley, and then Callum is 2 now, and he became super high strung, and then throw a baby into the mix.
And then I became super high strung.
Holding Max and Wesley, but yeah, so like the crafting life, it's definitely a challenge, and I never try to make it seem super too easy. Like if you're really passionate about something, then it can become easy, and if you're disciplined and you have a structure, then it can be definitely something that is a career choice, a valid career choice.
Well, structure I think is the main point in that, because I spend a lot of time. Like he had already a very good structure set up, and I'm like a few years behind in that.
Well, I was
that
chaotic
thing.
too the first year too. So
Well, so everything for me is just a total.
figuring out everything, and all of a sudden, like for me, one crazy thing in my business was like I accidentally just made something one day, a unique product, and all of a sudden it's like half of my sales, and so that can really throw you for a loop too. Like, so you just sometimes you don't know what's gonna sell good, what color is gonna sell better. And, oh, okay, the barn red doesn't sell that great. You know, milk paint. The tricycle red sells really good, and not like there's all this stuff you have to figure out
And like at that point, like in the beginning, I remember when I came here, I was like, I don't want to just do what people want to buy. I want to just craft and be creative and stuff, and it's all good, and the passion is really important. And like the biggest challenge is probably to keep that passion up, because you know, like sooner or later, and you remember how I were when I got here. I thought it's all about just the romantic part, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like however you want to turn
you
it
have
and
to fight
spin
for
it, it's not gonna be what you expect, and eventually you wanna pay your insurance and you wanna pay your rent and stuff, so you
It helps.
figure out that if the barn red sells better, then make the barn red spoons and stuff. And to some people that might sound like really harsh and like not what this all is for, but then there's a very big difference between somebody having a day job and then coming home and can't wait to carve one or two spoons and put a lot of time and effort in it, and then there's the people who walk in the morning into a shop and know there's got to be 12 spoons to be carved that day. And there's a difference. There's a big difference, and I think you have to just be aware of that and just be mature with it and say this is what it is. It's not bad or it's not good, but it's just what it is.
Yeah.
And with craft, that is in general like that. Knife making is the same, or the leather stuff, or like the cutting boards, or if you're a tailor, you know, if you're a painter, an artist in some respect, or a musician, you know. Like the album has to be done by this and that date to get your songs together, you know.
Yep. Yeah, pump out something creative now. You know, like,
Yeah. How is
doesn't
that gonna
work.
happen? Well, it can't really. So you're probably not gonna be able to make the best thing that you've ever done every single day, and that's a big frustration at the beginning, because I spent way too much time sometimes on a spoon because I wanted it to be the greatest spoon that I've ever made.
And then
12
I've made,
times
like,
a day.
Then I've made like, well, I don't know, like, it's no competition, but sometimes the issue was, yeah, you'd spend like an hour and a half, and I would have 2 spoons done, and
Right.
I know this sad
And
reality
at
where
some point, like Jeff just stopped and knew like the person's gonna pick it up and gonna love it, and I was still there carving little notches and
with the
and-
micrometer.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
I never used a micrometer. He is so rude. Yeah,
But,
actually, I'm actually seeing my spoons.
Yeah,
It's
he
out.
hasn't told anyone.
It's out no.
But yeah, what's interesting that has really changed this year is like, you haven't seen any how-to stuff from both of us, and like, I guess there is this interesting thing that still like even digesting in my own mind, where all of a sudden it's like you don't want to give away any of your secrets, and
Well,
so-
is that really the reason?
not like that
Well,
might
I
just
think
be a
our main
cliche
reason.
thing to
I
say.
think our main reason is more like there's a lot of how-to stuff out there, and then
Yeah.
you're filming a video with your camera from 8 different angles, and you're spending a day on an how-to video
Yeah.
to make that look nice and load it up on YouTube, and there goes a day where you needed to be with your family, take care of your kids, prepare product for actually making a
Yeah.
living. And sorry guys, sometimes, or like most of the time, the benefit, and we have to see it that way, especially we're young, we want to build up a lot of stuff in our life, and there is a lot to be done, and just going ahead and making a how-to video is just not that often
it's
on our
not
priority
beneficial
list.
to us even.
It
Well,
sounds harsh maybe, because
yeah.
we want to give stuff back, and we learned a lot from people, and when you go to our channels, you're gonna find how-to videos.
You have to
Tons.
dig. You have to watch
Already.
videos over and over again too. And like I mentioned before, go through our Instagrams, look through everything. Look at the tools on the table.
We
in
always
the
make
background.
descriptions. We
Uh,
always write descriptions. What we're using, the axes we're using, the brands, where to buy them. I have my axe reviews on my channel. I have all the hook knife reviews on my channel. Jeff has one of the best cooks are carving videos on the web out there that I learned tons and tons from. You just have to go, and nobody can do it in the end for you.
How
You
many
have
thumbs
to.
down, and am I gonna get for that? Yeah, just go ahead.
No,
and get
like
the
I
thumbs
really
down
think
video.
it's one of the best out there, because I was able to make cookses and sell cookses based on his video, period. and nobody helps you with going ahead and making a cooksa. Like, it does not matter how many how-to videos are out there. When you start it, whatever method you're gonna be using, and I think we used 3 different types even of axing out like ways for our spoons this year, and like it does not matter. And at the end of the day, you have to do it. You have to get good at it. You have to cut yourself and go through all of that. And your cooksa's gonna crack. They're gonna look wonky. You're gonna discover a knot half the way through. We can't do any of that for you. We needed to do it ourselves, and we have still a long way to go. That's for sure. But there is already a lot of stuff out there, and like with a little bit of time in between, we still bringing out some how-to videos and possibly, but it's not always possible at the time when you have like a year, in my case, to cramp a whole life into 1 year that you're living at the place where you're living in a hotel basically, and still going to like shows and working with retailers and doing your trips and experiencing the whole Canada thing. Moose, like seeing all the wildlife out in Temagami, right? Like fishing, all of that stuff. I mean, it was a blast, but at some point it was also to the point where I was just like sitting in the shop going like, I can't do this anymore. It was like, there is gonna be times like that. That's just a reality. So I think in the recap, there's so much that happened this year. So many cool people I met. So many we learned from each other or like by ourselves, that can't be even really be put in words. But I think why it went this way is just because we went out there and we did it.
Yep. There's gonna be like lots of mistakes when you're just trying new stuff all the time, right? Like you don't just pick up a new craft and everything goes perfect, but you just try everything, and like sometimes you do have to be disciplined enough to put in those those nights till 10 to learn quickly, okay, this isn't working, okay, do this is working, and then all of a sudden, like, you're where Max is, and in a year he's got great contacts, craft products that are like being narrowed down to to becoming a signature stuff, and then but a lot of contacts that you've made now can be a yearly excuse me, they can be a yearly source of support for your business, just because that the outdoor adventure show, that was insane hours, 3 a.m. till in the shop you're pulling nights like that.
Oh yeah, I
but
had
like
nights to 5 o'clock in the morning.
But now, like, just with the good contacts that you made, and just being a person that like is a go-getter, I think that's really important, and I always try and encourage that anytime I can. Like, so like the old me used to teach you how to carve a spoon, but now I'm just kind of like a little bit of butt kicking to be someone who's like, just who doesn't quit. Just keep plowing through, and don't be afraid of hard work. And then all of a sudden you'll find yourself with some accomplishments.
There is a reason why we're not really talking a lot about money and those things in this video, and I think the main reason is that, first of all, I think it's just a very personal topic. The second thing is that there's no
There's not always a rhyme or reason.
There's
for
no
certain
really,
things.
it's really difficult to predict stuff for people. I mean, Ontario is crazy when it comes to shows. I mean, like, you can go to shows and craft markets and farmers markets and all these kind of things all year round in every area. It's insane. When you go to Europe, there's hardly anything I've ever heard of. I mean, like, you can go to little farmers markets here, there, very often certain backwards guild systems gonna get into your way and gonna like tie your hands and all kind of stuff. So this is the land of pioneership and entrepreneurship for a reason. So as far as money goes, is there's gonna be very hard and tough times. There's gonna be times when you need to spend, like in my case, like just an insane amount of money on materials in one go, and then you mess half of it up. That's all part of it. So even from the financial point of view, there's no way anybody can predict anything for you. And again, from the financial point of view, it is like we said, the structure is important. You're gonna make way less mistakes, and you're gonna lose way less on that side. It's only to say that you're gonna lose way less on that side if you have a structure and a plan. So, like,
I'm not perfect at it, but I'm not trying to turn this into a plug, but like I try and I teach that. Like I'm interested in all that, and that's why I have my little ebook, and so it's basically like all my knowledge in there. And I try to break it down into a structure and try and like I actually carry around a journal all the time and just like keep track of my product. Okay, what do I need to make? And you started doing like just the board on the wall. Okay, like and have your Monday to Friday planned out, and that helps. I think helps keep some. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of different hats that you have to wear. That's for sure, and you start to see like why not too many people stick it out, or because yeah, it's very like tiring and draining, and like
even the social media part, right? Maybe that's another thing we should really quickly talk about. Social media is becoming crazy these days, and there's so much around, so many possibilities, like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, and there's new pages pretty much coming out all the time. What time do you want to invest in it? And like, if you invest too much time into it, it is gonna be an issue. It will take a lot of time and energy to keep it maintained. And then what exactly are you gaining from it? And some people just want to gain followers just for the sake of followers. We want and need to gain customers or people being interested in what we're doing. And it can be really a like two-edged blade. It can be great on one day, and then you're gonna get some stupid hate from somebody the next day, and it's draining for you for a week because it's just so pointless and everything. And like I said, it takes a lot of time. You're going to Instagram, you taking care of a nice picture, nice description, you share it all over Facebook. So it is a possibility. YouTube channels are the same, it's a possibility, but it's taking a lot of time.
yeah.
It's not you film something, you hop home, like edit it for 5 minutes and load it up.
Yeah,
it's
this
taking you
video will
hours.
probably take like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 hours to edit and then render and upload.
yeah.
Well, no, longer than that.
Just going through all of these things, and it has to, like, has to be somebody around all that time to make sure everything goes right, and all of a sudden,
and we need to document like this whole year though. Like we haven't even done a video yet, so
no, we
that's
haven't.
kind of like a good motivation to
It is.
get out here and make a
It took us
coffee.
11 months to get to
Yeah,
this
that's
point,
it.
so
I think we probably had envisioned this 10
Yeah.
months ago.
we did. I just think that as
Do
well.
YouTube videos all the time.
Yeah,
It did-
just like every day, just little check, update.
yeah, no.
No. Yeah, no. It
So-
would have been boring after a while just seeing us train going, yeah, it was another terrible week.
Here's a warm glass of milk for you.
No, give me the wine. I don't want.
So
Yeah.
it was a good year. I think once everything's wrapped up, it'll seem like a good year. For craft, I don't know. I definitely saw in Ontario like I do mostly shows and face to face with people, and it definitely seemed to be like it brought challenges. It was a really hot year, like or summer. Every weekend was so hot. Everyone that I talked to was like I was just like a zombie because I was just way too
Well,
hot.
it was like 38
like-
degrees, 40 degrees at some point in that booth. It was not fun.
Yeah, so that just the heat really
Yeah.
can affect your sales, and so and then having a baby, I mentioned that was a
Is it
huge-
affecting the sales too?
Yes, because it helps when you sleep. Yeah, I have a little sign that says "Wake me up if you'd like to buy something."
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, but it was a good year, and for the most part, like there's gonna be a lot of stuff that a lot of knowledge to take in and digest, and and it's probably one of those years that'll shape us both, like you know, like
And who knows? I
Yeah.
might be just back. You know, he still has a hard time dealing with that
What?
possibility. Okay, okay, but he's not gonna live with me here. It's gonna be okay. Well, I guess by that time now people actually understand me, so it's way easier for me to go for grocery shopping.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that bad when I came here. He always tries to make it sound
You're,
like.
you're English?
"Mm."
He does the worst Arnold impression ever, by the way.
That's not true. That is an insult.
My friend from Thailand is the best I've ever heard. But anyways.
Yeah, because well, this is way too easy to say something stupid. Now I'm gonna absolutely regret later. So I just
let's
not do that.
let's keep our
Oh.
professional appearance.
listen.
Let's go back to axes. Yeah, it's dull. You know, just kidding.
Right.
So we have to process half a tree today. I'm gonna turn it all into spoon billets, and that's gonna be fun. And yeah, we still
But
gotta
that's the
finish the year
reality.
strong.
That's the
Yeah,
reality.
right now, like if you're like sitting watching Netflix too much, there's probably a lot of things that you can personally do to just like just I don't know. I like hanging like accomplishments on my wall. You know, it's just does that make sense? In my mind.
In your
hanging on my-
mind,
hanging on
like
my
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
I like to go to bed knowing I've worked hard in the day and got lots done and stuff. And
Yeah.
if I haven't got lots done, I'll go to the shop and carve a couple spoons. And
Yeah, that's
but
right.
anyways.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways how you can waste your time.
yeah.
And like sometimes it's not easy, like after the shop, still going home, like me being by myself, like still cooking proper food, going to the gym, all this kind of stuff, driving for my training somewhere. But I learned getting my butt up and doing these things because at the end of the day, you only have so many years, you only have so much time. That's really what I realized. This year flew by. It's insane now thinking back on it, how much we did and how much I was able to do and how many things just happened. But as far as feeling goes, this year flew by absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
It
quite
is-
fast.
It is really terrifying. There is only so much time. There is time for a couple of Netflix shows here and there, and like just bring that up because that kept me sane sometimes. But there's definitely not enough time for all of that crap out there. There is not enough time for all that Facebook crap, and there is not a lot of time enough time for all of that surfing around and looking at other people's stuff and what they do and how it looks and what you want to be and all of that. There is hardly enough time for you to get out and do stuff.
Yeah, and you have to get out and do stuff. Like
Do
if you're
stuff.
watching YouTube videos, go out and try some stuff.
Just do stuff.
yeah, just do stuff.
Let's do some
I
stuff.
was out
today.
here and like I'm like I'm gonna go look for some chaga tea. So I found some. There's a tree over there. What else did we do? I tried. Well, the birch bark here sucks.
The
Can't
birch-
seem to peel a nice.
Yeah, we
fine-
tried a lot of birch bark in the
All the
beginning of
trees
the
are
year.
too
You had
old.
you had a couple of things, like a couple of pieces of birch bark that I was really
Save
able
some.
to make some knife handles out of. The last few pieces of birch we had
It's all
was just
so old.
feathering, was
Like-
like papering. I think Tom Byers calls it. There's a new
Bookie.
video. There's a new bookie actually. That's right.
His professional term.
There's a new video about him coming out. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Tom Byers is a canoe builder.
legendary canoe builder.
25 or 26 years. He's in Sudbury, Ontario, and
Oh, Sudbury.
yeah. But all the birch around here, like it's in this neck of the woods. It's all slow growth.
It's also way more southern, right? Like way more.
Yeah, but I think it's just choked up here. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a sugar bush that we're in, and there's a lot of like, it's pretty dense. But every birch tree is like, it's just very slow growth, and
Yeah, you
it's
find
it
a lot of
seems to-
silicate as well in it. So
Yeah, you're carving.
you're
and
carving and
your
it's
knife
just
is just
sandpaper
chipping.
sound, like
Yeah.
that, and then you're back at sharpening.
Yeah, because this is a natural gravel pit actually.
Yeah. So
You dig here, there's just gravel. right
yeah,
over
as,
here.
as far as sharpening and looking at those like craftsman's knives, and you're like, how often did they sharpen it? Well, they sharpen it a lot. Like we
Sometimes.
sharpened our knives down in a year. Our cheaper, easier,
Yeah,
simpler knives.
I'm on
right?
like my second knife this year. And
Yeah, that's really happening. You
Yeah.
gotta sharpen stuff 3 times a day. So before we're running out of light and out of daytime for our stuff, if you have any questions about this year and about what we've been doing, or if you just want to look at all of the mysterious things that we were talking about, head over to our Instagram pages, noble how is it called?
Underscore, I stole that from you. Noble underscore woodcraft. Credit to Maximilian.
And to my page, woodsman's underscore finest on Instagram. You also find
Which
us
I
on
helped him
Facebook.
come up with that name. So.
Just kidding. So wrong. He's just lying straight.
Can you go home already?
Whenever he says just kidding, it means he's not kidding.
It's
That's
only
what I
half
learned.
joking.
Half joking
You
doesn't
like that.
exist. Half joking is like the truth from a coward.
No offense.
No offense. Just
But-
totally offended
but you look like a girl.
Just kidding. Yeah, a lot learned this year. So yeah, our Instagram pages, Facebook pages, and like my website is gonna be up soon again after some maintenance. Woodsmansfinest.com in one word. And yours is what? Like, is it some Etsy?
I don't know. Just go to my Instagram, noble underscore woodcraft. But yeah, we were just trying to be like just more real. Like, obviously, we're just I don't
Guys.
know. Yeah, not caring at the moment to like I don't know, be super professional.
No, this
We're
is
just-
just
we're
this
just
is just
two
the
humans.
reality. This is just the truth. So if you have any more questions, just write them in the comment section.
Yep.
And yeah, support the channels if you want to, because we're trying to still put out some stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
And
And
subscribe to the channels, leave some happy thumbs,
Yeah.
and
if anyone watched the video up until this point, which is going to be rare, but
I think
I would
anybody's
s-
still watching.
yeah,
Do you
maybe,
want to test?
well, maybe there should be like a little special gift, or not a gift, like okay, so if you've got this far, and I'm only saying this,
After like 3 coffees.
yeah.
God, this is so tiring.
So if you've got this far, like I do my plug. I teach a little bit of the business side of things. I have the ebook, and if you've got this far, there's a promo code to save 15 or 20%, I think, off my ebook, and it's 2016 is the year. So follow my links, and you'll get a special little deal if you made it this far. It's just like a little appreciation.
No, I'm gonna be a dick if I don't do something like that. That was not planned,
You
but I
will get
totally understand it.
50% extra billed to your
I
whatever.
have
your
the
invoice.
ebook already. I bought this gentleman's ebook, and it has helped me tremendously. And no, it did. Believe it or not, it actually was helpful. I was just looking at the pictures.
Oh, a spoon.
Oh, nice. There's another spoon. No, now I'm gonna have to do something similar. Thank you. No, actually, that's a good idea. Anyways, I think
Because you've been clearing out your stuff, your knives and stuff.
more or less, yeah, because I have like 3 weeks and a little bit to go here, and there's gonna be a lot of things that have to go. So, if you wanna check in
Just-
with me, like just
yeah,
for
message-
belts, wallets, sheaths,
Just message you, and then
spoons, knives. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Just if you're looking for any of these things in a certain way, there's gonna be 10 to 20% off on all of my items at the moment.
they can
So-
just message you and say, "Hey, dude, I actually watched the end of the video."
Yeah, exactly. Just mention this video,
That you watched the end of it.
that you watched the end of it.
That's important.
So the code word is gonna be.
Anyone that sat on their computer, like at their laptop, watching this.
So
all
yeah,
the way
like I'm
until
gonna
now,
have a special. I'm gonna have a special code
They
word
need a
because
prop.
we actually talked about that, right? Like with all the beer that's brewed, that's craft beer now, and with all the burgers that I made, just as a burger, it's a craft burger now.
Is this
We
craft
thought
video?
like no, like this is not a craft video. This is like craft we do is now gonna be craft.
craft.
So there's no craft anymore. We're now like this generation. We're gonna do craft. So the code word is gonna be craft.
It'll just make you laugh every time. When you
Well, we called it beer brewing where I come from, but it's now
No, it's
craft
craft.
beer. So it's craft, and it's also gonna be a hashtag that's gonna be under every single post from now on Instagram. I promise that. And that's the password for like 10 to 20% off in certain items. If you message me, craft. Don't forget that.
All right, guys. How do we end this? Should we just like
I don't
walk
know.
away, or
You want to walk out?
do we shake hands? Do we
you want to
props?
like yep? Like do you want to like hand props?
What is this? Thanks for coming on the show. This is
You want to walk out there? I gotta.
okay.
You
I'll
want to
walk
walk
this.
there?
I'll go this way.
Okay, just don't step in the fire.
Okay. Okay. Max, are you almost ready for a video? He really has to get this message sent out.
Dude.
We're out in the wilderness.
This is gonna turn into a chainsaw massacre if you don't shut up.